What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Sage Valentine, and I'm here to do a recap and a review of tonight's episode of CBS's Big Brother Season 21, episode number 26. So, here goes nothing. Jackson was crowned the HOH, and he nominated Christie and Sis. He also won the Golden Power veto and decided to keep the nominations the same. The house is pretty much topsy-turvy, because despite the fact that Jackson said that Christie was his target, now all of this happened before tonight's episode. Jackson wants to flip and he wants to save Christie. That was surprising, even to me, definitely. And Sis will end up being the casualty of war. And all of this happened before the feeds were preempted in preparation for tonight's live episode. Sis was made aware that she was heading to jury, and she did not take it well. At one point, she kind of argued with Christie because she was upset. And as I watched that whole conversation, it seemed like Christie was kind of making it worse and acting like she didn't know that Sis was going to be voted out when she helped spearhead the idea to get out Sis. And Big Brother did not show the part where Christie was talking about how Sis had a bad attitude and she was being nasty and she wasn't taking being nominated well, as if Christie was taking it well. And then it turned into a cry fest where Christie outcried Sis, and I'm just like, Christie always has to like shoot for that Oscar or that Golden Globe. She can never let the person just vent and cry. At least when Holly cried with Christie, or if Holly started crying with somebody else, Holly would let the person cry and then she would cry. No, Christie had to outcry Annalise. And then Sis got upset because she was mad at Jackson because she thought that this was all Jackson's fault because Jackson lied to her. And Jackson took her feelings to heart and kind of said something like, I know that you wish me death, or you were acting like I'm dead to you, or something to that effect. Pretty much that's the gist of what happened before the feeds went down, at least what I saw. So anyways, let's get down to this review. So, Julie started talking about this prank week twist, and I'm like, here we go, another crazy twist. And somehow, some way, I felt like the outsiders were going to get screwed in it, and I was right. Hopefully, America's vote remains America's vote, and America is able to vote for who they want to nominate without any outside interference at all. But knowing Big Brother after all these years, that's probably not going to happen. So I don't have high hopes for that whole situation now. Christie is supposed to be the target. That's what Jackson said all week. Jackson's like he has her right where he wants her. And he hopes and believes that the house will honor his wishes. Christie says that Nick should be on the block, not her. Really, I think Nick should have been on the block next to her. That's a whole different story. Annalise believes that she has the votes because she's well liked and she's fine and she's sitting pretty. And that was her problem right there. Tommy is like, it's better if Christie stays in the house for his game, of course, because Christie is what? His shield. That's really all she is to him. And eventually that'll be revealed, I believe. But yeah, he used Jack and Christie as his shield. Now all he has is Christie, so of course he doesn't want her to leave. Not until he doesn't need her anymore. Jackson keeps saying to people, and he was saying that also on the feeds, that, you know, this is out of my control. It's out of my control who stays in this game. I'm just like, dude, you're HOH. This is all your control. Christie's supposed to be your target. Everybody's supposed to go along with what you want. And they sure did. They definitely did. Now, Christie decides that she's going to fight hard to stay. And the edit made it seem like she was only focused on Nick. Like, Nick is going to go to the end because he's a lone wolf. He's playing in the middle. If no one takes a shot at him, he's got a straight shot to the final 3 or the final 2 or even the money. And Christie wants to expose him. So she talks to Jackson and she says, you know, I'm everybody's target, so you could keep me and it'll keep you safe in the game because I'm pretty much everyone's target. And she said that Nick is a snake and that Nick will go to the end if somebody doesn't take a shot at him. And then Jackson tells her to blow up Nick's spot and put the target on Nick. And Christie is in the RV in the next segment, and she's talking to Tommy, Jessica, and Nicole, and she's just like, what do I have to lose? I'm just going to campaign and put it all on the table. Little did she know Nick was outside of the RV listening in, and he heard everything. She says that she's going to go after Nick during the Taco Tuesday dinner. Now, I didn't get a chance to see that dinner live because on Tuesday I was at the Power Stars event and I was all focused on that and the concert. But as soon as I got on the train home, that's when I found out something big had happened and was happening. Nick tells us in his diary room confessional that he is sick of people dragging him in his game and I guess besmirching his name, calling him a liar and such like that. But there is some truth to the things that people are saying about Nick. Nick tells Jackson about this as if Jackson didn't already light a fire under Christie's butt to get her to blow up Nick's spot. So Jackson's sitting there, he's listening to Nick, he's talking to Nick, telling Nick what he should do, all the while relishing what he knows is going to happen, this huge blow up. And Nick didn't even realize that Jackson was behind all this. If he had sat back instead of like kind of steaming and blowing a gasket a bit, he would have realized that Jackson was a little bit too happy during these conversations and a little bit too happy during that actual blow up. Then all of a sudden, it becomes Nick versus Christie in the kitchen on Taco Tuesday. Nick calls out Christie and confronts her. Christie tells Nick that he's being dramatic, and Nick tells her, listen, I am an honest person. Christie's like, no, you're not. And the thing about this fight that I noticed when I watched it, because I was able to watch clips of it, was that Christie managed to blow up quite a few people's spots. Now, what do I mean when I say blow up somebody's spot? I mean, like, out a whole crap load of people within the house. Like, call out names like Nicole and Jessica and Tommy and Nicole and Cliff. And I'm just looking at her like, holy crap. And these people are not seeing what she's doing. Like, dude, she's ruining your game. This is even worse than the Cliff Notes situation, but she's doing it in front of your face. Like, dude. Then she manages to tell everyone that Nick has been throwing these HOH competitions. Now, he's been telling us that during his diary room confessional, so we knew that. Well, most of us knew. Those of us who had the feeds and those of us who were like kind of paying attention to how he was playing the game, specifically the one that Tommy won, you could tell that he threw that. There was no way around that. And she also said something about 4 people being safe. Now, hopefully I'm getting the names right. It was Jessica, Cliff, and Nicole. And I think he might have said Annalise too. She might have said that, I'm not sure. But she pretty much blew up their spot. So now the rest of the house guests are kind of like, okay, if these people feel safe, Nick is really dangerous. And Christie says, you know what, Nick is my target. And I am the biggest target because I'm valuable. During that fight, it was crazy how, like, Tommy seemed to be aging like 10 years out of stress. Jessica looked confused, but I don't believe that Jessica is quote-unquote stupid like everybody's saying. I believe that this is a part of Jess's gameplay. She's acting like she's clueless, so these people will leave her in the game as long as possible. And Annalise, at one point, Christie tried to call her out to add her in, and Annalise is like, I'm not in this. And I was Annalise in this conversation, because if I was in that situation, I'd be like, keep me out. I do the same thing in my life. Like, people start fighting, I'm like, I'm not a part of this. I'm just going to sit back and listen. Unless it's like something crazy and it's involving me, like super involving me, then I get involved. Anyway, Holly is talking to Jackson in the next segment, and she says that Annalise can float through the house in the next few weeks because of Nick. And this is another reason why I knew that Annalise was in trouble. And Christie won't come after Holly and Jackson. If they believe that I have a bridge to sell them, as soon as she gets the chance and the opportunity, she will take them both out one by one. Jackson said that Christie made some valid points during the Taco Tuesday fight, and he's going to use those points to consider keeping her in the game. And I was just like, are you serious? Like, are you really serious? But I calmed down, and I continued to listen to what was going on. Holly said that for her specific game, Nick is a huge threat, which is why Sis ended up being a better choice for them to evict, because she was linked to Nick. See, this is why I always say these showmances are a bad idea, because if somebody wants one person out, they end up going after the person they're with. And I do remember years ago, I think it was season 9, when they had the pairs and Parker and his I was going to say pair. Parker and his fellow pair person, girl, she ended up pissing off people in the house pretty much. And because of that, she and Parker were linked. So when she got evicted, he got evicted. Well, because Annalise is linked to Nick, that's one of the main reasons why she was evicted from the house. And then Jackson and Holly started questioning, like, should we evict Christie or should we keep her and then go after Nick next week? I was just like, maybe you guys should get her out now, because this will be the only opportunity you get to do this. But, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think they're ever going to have another chance to do that. But as you can see, they decided to choose Annalise over Christie. So we get to the live eviction. And Sis and Christie get to make a final statement. Sis's statement included her saying, I would love to continue and compete. I played a loyal individual game. I have no ties to anyone. Now that right there is a lie, because she has a tie to Nick. And she hopes that the house guests vote to keep her or keep someone to further their game. Then you have Christie, who says she would not change anything. Annalise is her best friend. All she has is her word. She's a fighter. I think she said something about her word again. And her truth and authenticity. I think she said that a couple times. And then she said something about her longevity. And that's what she cares about more than anything. We got down to the live vote. It was 5 votes to 1. Jessica, Tommy, Holly, Cliff, and Nicole all voted for Annalise. Nick was the only one who voted for Christie. Again, this was a prime time to get Christie out of the house. Now it's going to be extremely difficult. Extremely. And in the end, Annalise was heading to jury to go meet up back with Jack and to see Kat. Now, Annalise hugged everybody and she made it into the studio and she did her interview with Julie. Well, part of the interview, because the rest is obviously going to be online, because they've been doing that for the past couple weeks. Or basically all season. So in Julie's interview, Annalise said that the Taco Tuesday fight is the main reason why Christie ended up staying in the house. And she said that if she had remained in the house, she would have had Nick's back, because everybody was afraid of him. And that's why they got rid of her. But still, she would have had Nick's back. And she would have protected Nick because he had her back. And Christie is her best friend. Jackson betrayed her, and she believed in him, and she felt blindsided by her nomination. She really thought that Jackson genuinely wanted to work with her. And she, in the end, hopes that Tommy wins. The thing about it, as far as the situation with Jackson, is that Jackson never said that he was not going to be evicting Annalise. What Jackson said to us was that, listen, he's going to put her on the block. And he, you know what? Scratch that. He did make it seem like she was a pawn to her, but to us, he let us know that if he couldn't get out Christie, he was going to get out Annalise. So it was either or. But to her, he kind of did make it seem like she was a pawn. But you can tell she really didn't watch this game because pawns always end up going home. So I don't get why she felt so safe. But then again, she's felt safe all these weeks. She's joined in on the conversations and the laughter. And she has been depicted on the TV show as clueless. And she has been okay with not knowing things. So that's probably why she's in the predicament that she's in. She felt like she was safe and she was smooth sailing. Alrighty, so we got to this whole prank week thing. Big Brother pranked the house guests by having them basically take part in the study session for Big Brother's bird watching audio tour. And these house guests had to memorize bird sounds for the HOH competition. Well, poor Nicole. That's all I had to say, because Nicole had to deal with all of that. And she was not good with birds. As we already know, obviously, she's not good with that. For some reason, this like gnat or something is like crawling on my phone. That's why I said, because I was trying to blow him away. Like you guys could actually see him, but you can't. The HOH competition basically turned out to be called Prank Shot. So the whole bird watching thing was nothing. They stayed up late all night studying these bird watching sounds and trying to memorize it for nothing. So Prank Shot is basically a skill shot or a skill game. Okay, and the house guest with the lowest score gets a prank punishment. That's what Julie Chen said, the house guest. I didn't hear her say the house guest. And basically Holly got the highest score because she got 50, followed by Nick, who got 34, Christie, who got 21, Cliff and Nicole, who ended up getting 18. I forgot to say Tommy got 41 and Jessica got 3. So Holly ends up being the HOH, aka Jackson. This is Jackson's second week in a row of being the HOH. And Cliff, Nicole, and Jessica are ending up being the house guests with the lowest scores. So they ended up basically getting the prank punishment. But I could have sworn she said the house guest. So I was like, why are all three of them? I know they tied for 18, Cliff and Nicole, but I'm like, why all three of them? But anyway, pretty much at the end of the episode, we got to see the house guests kind of talking to one another. And you can see Cliff and Nicole standing in the background, very quiet. Like they know that one of them is going to be targeted or both of them are going to be targeted. And basically Big Brother revealed that America gets a vote. We vote for a prankster and that person gets to nominate someone on the DL. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not putting all my faith in this twist because these twists have been a mess. And if anything, they've been very detrimental to the outsider side of the house. So I'm going to sit back and chill. I might vote when I finish uploading this, but I'm not too keen on that. But anyway, let me know what you thought of tonight's episode and who you think will be nominated this week. I can tell you right now, I feel like Nicole is going to end up on the block unless we vote her in as the prankster. And she's allowed to be the prankster. Something shaky shady's going on, that's all I'm going to say. But I love you all, take care, and I'll be back on Sunday to do another review. And I'll be on Tuesday on TV Koah at 7 p.m. I'm going live to chat all about Big Brother, and then I'll do my reviews on Wednesday and Thursday, and so on and so forth. There'll be no late reviews, nothing impeding anything Big Brother on this end until the finale. So see you Sunday, guys. Love you all. Bye, guys. Bye.